Los Angeles Chargers 23, Denver Broncos 16. Chargers move to 3-2. Broncos fall to 3-3.
Indeed. How many pass attempts did Justin Herbert end up with?
34.
Okay, so he'd been averaging 23, 22 a game, something like that, heading into this game. Then Harbaugh heads to the medical tent and then off the field with apparently a heart arrhythmia, which is pretty
I didn't hear that
jarring.
specifically until you mentioned it on the instant reaction last night.
And then coincidentally, Herbert ends up with like 13 pass attempts in the first quarter. The second his head coach is off the sideline. I don't know if that was coincidence or if that's just the way it broke down, but that was kind of funny. The Harbaugh thing is pretty crazy. Like apparently he was saying the heart arrhythmia causes like his heart to flutter to like 200 beats a minute or something. That doesn't sound great.
So that's not just like the normal, like everybody gets like a little flutter here and there.
No, it's like a sustained
like
heart palpitations where instead of a flutter, it's like for a period of time his heart is going.
You must feel like, oh man, and he loves football so much. It must really, like Sunday at 1, he must get so jacked up. For the game.
It's one of those situations where you want to make a joke of it, right? Before you find out.
I'm not making a joke of it.
No,
I'm saying like
before
his love for football probably gets him even more amped up.
But the report was just initially like Harbaugh's gone to the medical tent and then to the sideline, right? And like that's funny. Just before you know any more information,
sure.
Jim Harbaugh going to the medical tent randomly is quite a funny scenario, right? So I immediately wanted to like crack a joke about it because it's funny. But I didn't, just in case it was something quite serious, and you're like, oh, now you look like an idiot. The heart arrhythmia, that's a pretty significant thing and sounds terrible for him. But it did occur to me that, like, because obviously when that's not a thing that normally happens, and people are like, was that a Paul Pierce medical visit or a Lamar Jackson, shuffling his way to the toilet type of thing? I genuinely believe that if it had been, Jim Harbaugh would prefer to crap himself on the sideline than go in to relieve himself. He loves ball that much. I think he would prefer to do it right in the slacks.
Yeah.
I'll clean it up later.
I mean, think about the
I got
motivation.
fourth down to think about right now.
Yeah, your offensive line would be fired up after
How much respect would they have for you if they
I
saw?
want to go to war with
this
guy.
is what I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
Right here.
Got to go to war with this guy.
Yeah.
So Herbert throws the ball a lot more than usual. 237 passing yards, touchdown. Kamani Vidal. Vidal?
That's how they were saying it in the game. Vidal.
Nice. I didn't hear that. That's great. Nailed it. Beautiful throw for a 38-yard touchdown.
First touch in the NFL was a touchdown.
That's awesome. Should feed him even more. Second touch went for 2 yards, though, unfortunately. Second reception, at least. 4 carries for 11 yards for Vidal. But, yeah, he was a lot of people's favorite sleepers. I know our friend Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl talking him up as a pass-protecting running back who should, make a squad and do some damage. That was a beautiful pass by Justin Herbert for the touchdown there. And, they spread the ball around. Ladd McConkey still making plays for the Chargers. And back to running the ball quite a bit with J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, and Dobbins was sort of back to looking very good. He had a couple of really nice plays. Vidal, as you said, had the really nice reception. They were talking about wanting to work him in more as a receiving back. So there's a potential nice niche that he has there in addition to, like, even if J.K. Dobbins takes all the workload, and like this game's 25 carries to 4. So it's not like they're splitting the work there. But even if that maintains, Vidal has a path to the field as a receiver in this offense. This is like the opposite of the Falcons-Panthers game, where you have to view everything through the prism of these are two good pass defenses. So with the Chargers, the other game, you're like, but like neither one of these defenses could stop anything right now. This one, you're like, well, the Chargers have been one of the best defenses in the NFL, and so have the Broncos. And even though they lost Patrick Surtain to concussion at some point in the game, like, these have been two really good pass defenses. And, yeah, like Justin Herbert opened it up a bit more, didn't necessarily play that much better. And Bo Nix, for the first half, was really struggling before sort of clawing it back a bit in the second half.
Yeah, so he had an overthrow early, led to an interception by the Chargers. That helped the Chargers get up 10-0. It was 20-0 at the half, 23-0 into the fourth quarter. Broncos started to creep back into it. Our guy Troy Franklin with a 2-yard touchdown reception kind of whooped.
Oh, Troy!
Our other friend Derwin James kind of whooped him on the route. Franklin had another big catch in there as well, where he's wide open. Almost went full Plaxico on it.
Shot himself in the leg.
Not that Plaxico. The first Plaxico of Plaxicoing was his first year in the year 2000 when he was a Steeler. Plaxico catches a big pass over the middle, falls over, gets up, nobody touched him, and he spikes the ball in celebration, which is a fumble.
Yeah.
And Troy Franklin was more wide open, came back to catch it, stood up, thought he was down, but it was ruled as giving himself up.
Right.
I guess he was kind of ruled down, but he kind of like, they forced a fumble on him after, and it almost wasn't full Plaxico, like he wasn't celebrating turning it over. Anyway, he at least caught passes this week, which is good for our evaluations.
So before being known for shooting himself in the leg, he was known for something almost as stupid.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's
also has a game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. It's been a wide range of outcomes for Plaxico.
Yes. It's been quite the spectrum.
Bo Nix, other touchdown pass was beautiful one-handed catch by Cortland Sutton in the end zone. So Denver crept back into this, got within 7, kicks in. They have an onside kick out of bounds, but there was offsetting penalties. They got to onside kick it one more time. It almost had a chance, but ends up out of bounds, and the Chargers hold on to win.
Yeah. So, overall, I think this is kind of what this game was, which is 2 really good defenses, 2 offenses that are not great at the moment, with obviously Justin Herbert having the kind of higher ceiling of the 2 quarterbacks, and it's kind of where it ended up, right?
A lot of inconsistency from Denver's passing attack. Yeah, credit the defenses and what they're able to do, but Denver, very inconsistent. For a while, there's so many Bo Nix dropbacks where he's just scrambling around. Looks like a Zach Wilson type of game where all the passes are coming from weird spots outside the pocket rather than within the pocket.
It occurred to me that he's kind of playing the game like Justin Fields, where it's like very quick to just abandon it and start.
Yeah.
And it's not, you wouldn't have it.
It's sporadic. I didn't. The other word you don't want me.
Like you just wouldn't have described him playing this way in college, right? It's like the antithesis of the way he played the game in college. It's all relying on his athleticism and out of script and like Russell Wilson style. Let's just buy time and hope something comes up.
He had Nix led the team in rushing with 61 yards. He had an outstanding 21-yard scamper. It looked like he was sacked by Bud Dupree, broke free from it. That was one of the first signs of life from the Broncos offense in this one. So he's feisty.
He is feisty.
Feisty, yet inconsistent, this Denver offense. Somebody asked if Audric Estime made his debut. He made his return with 2 carries for 13 yards. Remember, he played, week 1, fumbled, and then got hurt, was put on IR. And
sent to the hole.
Yes. But he's back.
Yes.
Need to see more from Estime.
Yeah. Chargers' offensive line is pretty banged up as well, which is it's a factor in all this, right? Joe Alt is back, looking really good still. But this is a group that's been nicked up and banged up and not where they want it to be. They're not alone in that, but it's part of the reason why Justin Herbert didn't have the best game in the world, why the pass rush for Denver was getting home as well. So just a factor in it.
When you look at the Chargers season, right, they're coming off the bye in this game. They came off a bye in this game. They're 3-2. Their 2 losses, lost to the Steelers when they did get hurt. Everybody got hurt in that game, and Herbert was battling multiple injuries. And they lost to the Chiefs when all those hurt players weren't on the field. But they're playing all these close defensive-centric games. They also have the Cardinals, Saints, Browns, and Titans over the next 4 weeks. They could easily be 7-2. I'm not saying they're definitely going to win all 4, but they have Bengals and Ravens after that too. But they have a chance to go on a little bit of a run here. I'm curious to see where this team is when they face the Chiefs again in December, right? When they're still trying. They're probably the best challenger in the West right now, especially after beating Denver. They're probably the best challenger for the Chiefs if they continue with this style, because it's going to be – we're going to sit here for the next few weeks with this uncomfortable – I don't know what the Chargers are. Like when they do run the ball well and they do play that good defense, they're tough, but they're sitting on Herbert, and I feel like they could have more, but they don't have enough pass catchers. But they're going to just be this close game, see where it ends, see where it ends up type of team.
Yep.
Great. Nailed it.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.